Hey guys, welcome back to the part 3 of this game tutorial series where we are making this platformer game. And in the previous video, we were done setting up our character for this game, and in this video, we are going to set up our asset pack from Marketplace and use it to design our first level. It is going to be really fun, and before we jump in the tutorial, let me tell you can download this project from my Patreon where you can access all the assets and UI I use for this game along with the whole project. The link is in the description. So now as we are done setting up our character and its animations, now we can jump on to designing our own level. Now open up your Epic Game Launcher, and here in the Unreal Engine category, in the top, you'll see Fab. Click on this. Fab is now replaced by Marketplace previously. Now here click on Start Exploring, and this will take you to the website, and here you will find a lot of assets you can use in your game. Some of them are paid, some of them are free, but here the one we want is, in the top search for something like Village Pack as I remember. Yeah, there it is. So this is fantastic village pack. In this pack you will find a lot of assets that we can use in our game. As you can see here, there are so many assets. And the fact that this is all free, so just download this pack. And I already have this pack in my library, so I will go back to the Epic Game Launcher, go to the library, and here I will search for that village pack. There it is, and now we have to click on Add to Project, and here select your game and Add to Project. Now when you are done with download and all that stuff, go back to your game project, and here you will find this fantastic village pack folder, inside which you will find all the assets provided within the pack. And they are organized into different folders. Now let's go into the map folder, and here let's open up this village day map. So here is this whole map. As you can see, there are a lot of assets used in this whole map. And if you move around a bit, here you can see this, how different assets are placed to make this environment so beautiful. Not only this, if we go somewhere around here, you will see there are also some more small assets placed in the world and making the map look so filled. So we are going to use these assets to design our own level. Now click on File and let's create a new level. So we are going to select an empty level, click OK. So this is what our empty level looks like. There is nothing here. So click on this icon over here and let's search for Sky Atmosphere. There it is, but still we cannot see anything in here because we need a directional light. So search for a directional light. There you go. Now there you can see the sky atmosphere is now visible, but the ground is still black, and for that we are going to add an exponential height fog. There you can see the ground is now also visible. Then add a skylight. And after that you can also add reflection capture for reflections in your environment, and you can also add volumetric clouds, as you can see here. But we don't need it for the kind of environment we are creating. So when you are done with your atmosphere, what we're gonna do is go to your content browser, and here right click and add a folder, name this maps. So here we are gonna save all the levels we are going to have in this game. So click on the save all button, click on save, and here select this map folder and let's name this map level 1. Now save it. So we got this level saved in our content browser, but now we're gonna add a skybox that is going to cover our whole level. So from here search for the sphere, there it is, select this, and now what we are going to do is, in the detail panel if you scroll down a bit, here in the materials, search for the skybox. These are the skybox material which you get from the village pack. So select this one, and now if you go inside this sphere, now you'll start to understand what a skybox is. So we are going to scale this sphere enough that it will cover the whole level. So let's give it a size of 2000, and as you can see it just looks like a sky. If I press F, you can see how big this sphere is, and inside this we are going to design a level. Now here if I hide and hide this height fog, you can clearly see the difference it's creating at the ground level. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna blend this height fog color with the skybox color. So in the detail panel, from here you can adjust the height fog color. Here you can see how it changes the color. Now you can also use this eyedropper tool and take it somewhere near to the skybox color which you want, so it will adapt the color more accurately to blend with the skybox. Now let's add a cube into the level. Now here you'll see the cube color is a little bit dim, and this is happening because of this skybox is casting shadow over this. Because this is also a mesh at the end, doesn't matter how big it is. So what we are going to do is, and in the details panel, if you scroll a bit down, you'll find this cast shadow option. Uncheck this and this will no longer cast any shadow on the objects. Also, if you scroll a bit upward, here this option which says can characters tap upon, set this to no, and just below this in the collision preset, set it to no collision so that the skybox will behave as it should be without affecting any objects in our level. Now in the outliner, let's rename this to Skybox. And now what we are going to do is, we are going to select all the objects that affects our atmosphere, like directional light, height fog, sky atmosphere and others. And from here we are going to create a folder and we are going to name this atmosphere. As you can see, it controls whole atmosphere and this way our level will be more organized. Alright, so now let's scale this cube a little bit. You'll get it why we need this cube in some minutes. But for now I'm gonna give it scale of 55 on X and Y axis. So it's a square shape. Now if I go a little bit down, here you'll see the fog works, but I need this fog a little bit more dense than what it already is. So I'm gonna make some changes in the fog values. However, you can use the same values as mine to get the similar effect, or you can also tweak these values according to your preference. So after you're done setting up your fog settings, let's go to content browser and here let's go to the village pack folder. And if you go to the filter and select static mesh right here, now this will list all the static mesh it has inside that village pack folder. Here you can see there are a lot of them and you don't need to go through all the folders to access them. So what I'm gonna do here is, I'm gonna place some of the assets over this cube so it will be a lot easier to access them while we are designing our level. So I'm done placing most of the assets I'm gonna use. So let's start with this one. So this is a walkway wood on which our character will be running most of the time. You can also read these assets name from here and then search them in the content browser if you want to use the same assets as I'm using. Also, I'm using a different material for this asset. So if I go through this material is the original one for this walkway, but we are going to use both of them for some variety in our level. Then we have these. These are kind of an obstacle platform on which our character will be jumping to reach some height. And then we have this. We will be using this when we have to increase the height of a walkway. Somewhere like this. And then we have this bridge. We can use them in a lot of places. Then we have planks. Again, these will be like obstacle platform. And then there is this. So what is this? I made these using two assets. And this is going to be the final destination where the character has to reach. I think it's look okay. And then in this column we have mainly obstacles. I don't know what are these. Looks like wooden trunk to me. But we can use these as obstacle platform where our character have to jump on. And then we have this windmill. Of course it's gonna rotate and our player has to pass through it. And then we have this trunk. It's just gonna rotate like this and will throw the player away. And then we have this, what is this? This is a kind of wheel. So it's just gonna rotate and a player has to run on it. Kind of treadmill. And then this little guy. This is a platform which gonna carry a player from one place to another. So simple. Now coming out of the obstacles, this thing you see over here. This is going to be our in-game currency. Actually this is a potato sack. But let's just assume this is a pottery filled of coins. And then these are the buildings or whatever. These are just gonna cover up the sides of a walkway or platform, whatever we're gonna have. And we are using stone platform beneath these buildings. And yeah, that's all. These are the most of the assets we are gonna use while designing a level. So while keeping them here, we can continue designing a level. But before that, if you go to your world settings, here you'll see this level has no game mode. So we are just gonna create one and then we can state the default pawn class and whatever class we wanna use. So click on this plus icon here. Alright, before that, go to your content browser and here right click and create a new folder. Let's name this blueprints. And this is where we are gonna keep most of our blueprint classes. So now we are gonna create the game mode inside this folder. Let's name this my game mode. So now if you go inside the blueprint folder, here you can see your game mode has been created. So in your world settings, here make sure you have selected my game mode. And now in the default pawn class, select my character PP, which is this one if you remember. Now let's add a player start into the level. So search for the player start and then place it wherever you wanna spawn your character. Let's say somewhere here. Now let's click on play, and as you can see, our character has been spawned in the level. And then we can walk around and see how the platform feels like. Looking good to me. Let's run over the walkway. If you move your camera a little bit downward, here you'll see our character is almost floating in air when standing on this walkway. Don't worry, I'll tell you how to fix that. But for now, I think the game feel is pretty much good till now. And if we jump through, here you can see the exact reason why I placed a height fog here. Alright, so now we can start designing our level. So first let's select this walkway, and you can hold Alt to duplicate this and hold Shift while moving it. So the camera will also move along with this. And rotate it to 90 degree in Z-axis because I wanna keep it in forward direction. Now before we move any further in level designing, first I'm gonna show you a very useful tool. So click on these 3 lines and down here you will find this layout. So here you can choose between different layouts according to your preference, like I selected this one. So here you can see through different angles while working on designing, and this is really helpful when you are designing your level. You got this top view as well as your normal perspective view and the right view at the bottom, which will help you in precise placement of your assets. You can also change the angles if you want from here, but I'm just going to keep it on the top. Now if I select the asset on one camera angle, I can then just press F on any of the perspective and it will take me near that asset. And here through the top perspective, I will hold Alt and drag this walkway forward so it will be duplicated and placed in just front. You see, it makes it so easy. Now I'm gonna duplicate the walkway one more time. Now it's enough, and after this I'm gonna place this bridge you see over here in front of the walkway. And rather than doing this from the normal perspective, I'm going to duplicate it from the top perspective. It just makes it so much easier. Alright, so after I place this bridge over here, I'm going to select these 2 walkways, then duplicate them and move them forward after the bridge. Alright, so now we are going to place a play start over here so that we can play and test how it looks like. So our character is on the walkway, so now let's run forward. Okay, so it already feels so nice, but if you look down, here's this little problem. Our character is floating in air. And this is because of the simplified collision this walkway uses by its default. So we are going to use the custom collision for this walkway. And for that, first we need to find this walkway in our content browser. And a quick way to do it is just to right click on this asset and click on this browse to asset. And this will directly take us to the asset in the content browser. Open this up. And now if you want to see the collision it has, for that click on this collision tab and let's add a box collision. And this will also show us the collision it already has. And you can already see the collision is not quite fitting from the top, and to see that clearly we can change our perspective to front. And here you can see there is a lot gap between the collision surface and the actual asset surface. That's why our character was looking like it's floating on the air. So delete this collision and let's add our own by adding a box simplified collision. Now if I try to resize it, it just snaps to a particular size. To fix that, you can turn off this snapping icons from scaling, rotation and moving. So now you can freely move, rotate or scale this collision. Now first we are going to cover the collision for the base of this walkway. So scale it a little bit down from Z-axis and move it to the base. So as you can see, the collision looks fine for the base. Now hold Alt and drag this collision a little bit up and now resize it for one small block. Just like this. And then you can duplicate the collision again and resize it for the another block. And you'll do the same for all the blocks you have for this walkway. Now we are done and the collision looks more precise now, and we shouldn't have that character floating issue anymore. So let's play and test this. So now as you can see, it is quite better than before and not quite that noticeable. So it's all good now. Alright, so after this I want a platform that goes right direction and upward on which a character can jump on. So for that, we can use this platform. It's kind of a obstacle platform, so we can use this to make the level a little bit difficult. So again, I'm gonna hold Alt and drag it where I want to place it. And you guys don't have to necessarily copy me, you can use your own platforms and your own paths to design the level. Alright, so after this, I'm going to use this platform as if to show that the walkway is now reaching some height. So again, just hold Alt and place it according to your level design. Alright, so this looks fine. So now let's play and test this. So we need to play test for every obstacle platform to ensure that we can reach to our goal. As you can see, our character can easily jump onto these platforms, and we have to keep this level easy since it's a level 1. Now I'm gonna extend this path a bit more by duplicating this walkway one after another, and after that I'm gonna use this bridge after that walkway path. So let's duplicate this too and place it according to your level. Alright, so now I'm gonna extend the path one more time. And just after this, we are going to reach our final destination. And to represent that destination, I'm going to use this. So duplicate this and place it just in front of the walkway. So as you're done with this, we can add some border here in the corner so it will not look that empty. So you can go to content browser and you can use these stones to use them as a border here. Alright, so now I think it looks a lot better now. Alright, so now it's time to add these buildings on the sideways of our walkway. So select these all, duplicate them by holding Alt and dragging it near the walkway. Then you can place them next to each other. And after that, select them all, then right click, then click on this group option. And this is gonna group them together so that when you click on any of this asset, all the grouped asset will be selected along with that. So now let's place these buildings near to the walkways, also maintain enough distance from that, and then let's duplicate this and place them forward. Just like this. And then we can select both of these groups and duplicate them and rotate them around to cover the other side of the walkway. As you can see, it's already looking quite good. Now select this group which is near to the edge, and we want to make a turn here, so right click and ungroup this. Now we are going to rotate each building slightly to make a smooth turn on this edge. Now duplicate the previous group to continue this sideway. Now the same thing we are going to do on the other side. Duplicate and ungroup to make slightly change on each building. Then duplicate the previous group to continue the sideway. Alright, so now we are almost done with this level design, and now we can play and test this to see how it goes. So as you can see, we got these buildings on the sideways and they are really looking good. So now let's go forward and let's see if we can finish this level. Here we got this first jump, the second jump, the third jump and the last jump. And then we have this little bridge, so let's jump over that. There you go. And then just go to the finish line. So this was the level 1, which obviously gonna be easier than the other we are gonna make. And now if you scroll down the camera a little bit, you'll see we have the same floating issue. So we just need to fix the collision of this mesh. So open up this mesh, add a box collision to see what collision we have. As you can see here, exactly why we were having that problem. So delete this and then add a box simplified collision, then place it near to the surface of this mesh. And now the problem must have been fixed. So that is it for this part of our tutorial series, and in the next part we're gonna set up finish line, kill zone, an obstacle which will push our player off the platform. So if you like this video, you can support me on Patreon, where you can access this game project file and all the assets I've used for this game. The link is in the description. And you can also join our Discord server, where you can interact with other developers of this community. And if this video helped you out, and make sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I want to thank Patreon members of this month. Thank you so much for your support, it means a lot. Till then, see you, bye bye.